You are watching a master at work.
You know, they say there's no money.
You are watching
They say that HJR 192 does not exist.
You are
They
watching
say
a
that the
master.
United States did not file bankruptcy in 1933.
You are watching a master at work.
They say that they are not treating us like corporations when we walk into court. They say that our names are not titles. They say that we cannot
You are watching
be
a
more
master at
than
work.
a servant. They say that they are not fiduciaries, they are not trustees, but yet they say a lot of stuff.
You are watching a master at
But
work.
when we look into it and we do the
You are
research,
watching a master
we
at work.
find out that they are everything they say they're not. So what are we gonna do about it? Are we gonna let them continue to say what they say, or are we gonna stand up and start speaking for ourselves? You cannot speak up for yourself if you remain silent. You cannot speak up for yourself if you refuse to speak. You cannot speak up for yourself if you are a fiction. Are you a fiction? Are you a fiction? Are you a fiction? Only time will tell.
Ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen, for some of you, we're about to take you back a little step. And we just want to make sure you understand this is going to be a simple presentation. Ain't going to last long, because I touched a dream. Now, many of you may not have heard this song, but I have. Every mixtape of oldies seems to have had this song attached to it. Now let me let y'all know so that y'all understand. The YouTube channel, we don't monitor that channel. I don't check it, and nobody else has access to the YouTube channel anymore but me. I don't check it. Why? Because that's not the way I communicate with people. We constantly are telling you the email address on the YouTube channel. So let's put it up here again, because some people are not getting it. It is redress, okay? UCC, as in Uniform Commercial Code. Now, let's make the screen a little bit bigger so y'all can see, because some of y'all can't see. Okay? At gmail.com. That is the way to contact Redress Right. Let's do this. Okay? Just that simple. Now, I had a guy make a comment on here. I checked a couple of them. Wasn't able to check all of them because, again, this is not the way I communicate with people. It's don't do it through YouTube. That's why we got rid of the allowing people the opportunity to post comments. Now, we're going to take that opportunity away from you all as well for posting comments on the channel. Now, we're going to let you comment and post comments, but this thing tells the load more. People, I definitely haven't checked none of these. And I can't tell you how long. So let's just make it clear so you all can understand. The only way that you're going to get in contact with the Redress Right organization is through this website at this time. I'm really disappointed that people don't listen. We constantly are saying redressucc@gmail.com on the channel. You can't contact me through the website because the website has redressucc@gmail.com for the email address. You can't use the Vodier email address anymore because we don't monitor that email address. I have a total of 20 different email accounts. I cannot monitor them all. It's too many. And the fact that we're getting, oh God, now it's 525 emails a month on just the Redress Right Gmail account. I answer every email with the exception of those emails that are repetitive or are asking questions that I'm not in a position to answer for you. So let me see if I can explain to all of you what's going on. We're uploading a video right now talking about the templates that we just put online. Not going to show it to you because the video itself shows you those templates. But prior to uploading that video, let's do something here. Let's take you to the other videos that we've uploaded today. We're going to leave the screen at the current resolution. That was one of the comments as well, is that they can't see the screen because it's too small. Well, technically, that's good because you're supposed to be taking the ideas and making it your own. So let's see if I can put it to you this way. With the hour style money orders, this is the new change. And I'll tell you, at first I was going to keep it away from some of you because some of you abuse it. You first have to understand who you are. My method of doing things works for me because I know who I am. And I refuse to let someone else tell me who I am or to put a label on me. You know, some people would refer to me as a black man. I am not a black man. I am not a white man. I'm not a green man. I'm not a green man. I'm not an orange man. I'm not a P man. I'm not a B man. I'm not a C man. You don't get to tell me who I am and put me in a nice little box or shell or confine me within a definition. Go ahead. Ask anybody who knows me to describe me in one sentence. They can't. Impossible. Oh, that's a little bit of Espanol. Impossible. Impossible. Go ahead and type in impossible MP3 and see how many songs you come up with for impossible. But I will guarantee you, you cannot come up with a phrase for me in just one sentence. Now, we told you in the other video, the United States Treasury video. See, when we say something and we are not correct, wrong? No, not correct. We will let you know. Okay? And we will explain what our thinking was at the time. So the hour style money orders, they work this way. It wasn't that we were using the Treasury routing number and using the Social Security number as blah, blah, blah. The Social Security number didn't have anything to do with anything. It had everything to do with you being a real man and or woman. Social Security number had nothing to do with it because a computer cannot sign a signature. Only a human can sign a signature. So it was the signature or autograph that was allowing, the original autograph, that was allowing the items to work. But as we told you in the other video with the hour style money orders and the Federal Reserve, let's see, where's the Federal Reserve? A for V through the Federal Reserve. As we told you through that video, we believe that we should have been A for Ving through the Federal Reserve because they're the ones who are lending us a legal tender in the first place. We don't own it. Go ahead and pull out a dollar bill, a $20 bill, $100. Oh, no, many of you don't have a $100 bill. I'm kidding. Go ahead and pull out any one of their Federal Reserve notes. And notice it tells you Federal Reserve notes. That is the property of the Federal Reserve. It's not the property of the U.S. government. Never was. Okay? It's just that simple. It's their property. And if you destroy someone else's property, of course you can be prosecuted for that. But what they're doing is they're telling you that they're loaning that to you at interest. So what we did is we did some deducing, and we came to the conclusion of two things. We should be A for Ving through the Federal Reserve, that's one, and we should be sending it certified mail to the Federal Reserve that's associated with our routing number. You can get the Federal Reserve routing numbers at redressright.org/PDF. Just that simple, redressright.org/PDF. And just go down to Federal Reserve routing numbers. Okay? And I believe that has numbers in front of it, so it's going to be in a numbered section. Because after the numbers is alphabetical order. People, all of the information you need for A for Ving and understanding this whole process is in the PDF section of the file. That stuff has been up there for almost a year. Okay? We created the PDF section in January 28th. Because we wanted to put a location where you can go to get the information at one spot instead of having to go all over the net. And if you only understood the value of the information there.
But I don't want to go about, that's way too much information. This is too information overload.
And some people say,
Well, I don't like it when you do them voices.
yeah, man, what's up with them stupid voices? You know, see, I have to deal with that because people will give me their opinions. That's why we don't allow comments anymore. It's because this website, YouTube, the readersright.org, readersright.com, and the email address, those are all run by me, the grantor, the HNIC. Okay, those are mine. And the websites I pay for. I'm the one spending the time doing the videos. If you don't want to watch it, if you don't appreciate it, don't watch it. Man, if you all would stop watching, I will stop doing them. But those of you who have the negative comments, let me help you out. There are way too many people telling me every day about how much they appreciate the information, including this video right here. Okay, oh, and by the way, don't call Mr. Climas and Mrs. Knight, Miss Loretta Knight, because that may not be where the Treasury 1789 is located. We got that off of a document that someone else found, but we don't have their research. So I don't want to harass those people. Not yet. You know, he, in his conversation, I guess he wasn't playing dumb. And so I'll have to give Mr. Climas his credit if he was being honest with us. Okay, let's go further. We provided the new Irish-style money orders in small claims court. Just to let you guys know how you should be accessing small claims court and how you don't need to know the law. And no, it's not like Judge Judy. Okay, it's not like Judge Judy. The judge still has to abide by law. But it has everything to do with, did you do this? Did you give them notice? Which we give them notice. We go through the whole administrative process. So we gave them notice. We gave them another chance. Then we gave them a third chance. 3 strikes, you're out. Now let's go to court. Because now there is a controversy. Okay? And if you do your first presentment to the court as an affidavit, their response has to rebut every presumptive point of your affidavit and every factual point of your affidavit. If they do not rebut it point by point, the points that they don't rebut stand as fact in law. And in most small claims courts, hey, somebody know that owner that has that lonely heart? Okay, the small claims court, they usually give about 30 days for a response. So that's what you're going to give the idiots. 30 days to rebut your presumptions, but you're not going to tell them that they have 30 days to rebut presumptions. Okay, we're going to make this a little bit longer than we thought because I just realized a couple other things. As far as the Declaration of Executorship, granted assertion of rights, we are going to redo that. We're going to shorten it, put the language, incorporate the language from the other 3 documents, the Emancipation Proclamation. Okay. Hey, teacher, there are things that I still have to learn. But the last thing I had, I'm sorry, this is George Michaels. And he's seen a lot of danger. I know some of you have seen a lot of danger, but not like he has. No, I'm not clowning George Michaels. I actually like him as a singer. I think that he is a very good singer. And as far as his personal life, I don't care about his personal life. I like his singing. Has nothing to do with his personal life. Now, You're going to find that out about me real soon. I don't listen to hearsay. I don't engage in gossip. And I don't sit up there and judge a person by their purported actions. If they didn't tell it to me directly, I don't want to hear it. But if I perceive something within a person as far as a personality issue, yes, I will definitely allow that to manifest itself, and I will judge you based upon your conduct.
Will I forever judge a person?
Yes, I will forever judge them if they prove to be untrustworthy. Sorry. If I put a roach in your hand and you kill it, and that was my best friend, then I will never trust you with anything ever again. So you must understand, holding people accountable for their own actions.
Well, can people change?
Yes, people can change. But you don't change overnight.
No, you change in 5-10 minutes. That's how long it takes me to change.
Well, some people, it takes them 15, 16 years to change. And so I'm willing to allow a person to have the opportunity to change. But that means they really have to work on their core, their essence, who they really are. And the only time you're going to get to know who you really are is when you spend time with yourself. Some of you are too busy to get to know who you really are. So I will let you know, I'll let you in on something, because most people couldn't get it even if they had the opportunity. When I tell you that they kicked me out of jail, I'm not joking. But I went there in the first place. Yes, I went. Nobody made me go. I'm the one who put myself in that position on purpose. I've already explained it, and so I said I wasn't going to go into it anymore, so I'm not going to do it here. Got to keep my word. But when I put myself in there, I kept pissing the judge off. Originally, it was only supposed to be 6 months. Then it was a year. And then I just kept pissing the fool off because I was working on me and I needed the isolation. So they referred to me as a threat to the administration because I was saying things like, hey, what are you fools doing? And they would get mad because, you know, in jail, people don't like to be called fools. There's a lot of other things they don't like to be called that I learned. Like, I'm sorry, can't say that word. Anyway, what I found out is that they were working for 5 and 7 cents an hour.
I'm like, what's wrong with you people? Do you realize there's 400 of you and there's only 24 of them? At any given time during the day, do you realize how much control you have? You bring the meals to the rest of the inmates. You cook the meals. You clean this place. You do the laundry. Do you not understand? It's time for you all to go on strike. Now, I wasn't orchestrating a strike. What I was telling them, if you want things to change, then just stop. Stop allowing it. So, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who have mortgages, about the emails and the people trying to contact me on my site, that's how I got it to stop. Because, hey, I don't want it to happen. I'm tired of it. We did this one, the Ultimate Mortgage Update. Go ahead and go over the video, and then you contact me and let me know who else is telling you any information like this and providing it to you at no charge. Then we did this one, where we're putting templates up there, not so that you can copy them, but so that you can, it actually says the templates you've been waiting for and their value, so that you can take from each one and add what applies. I'm teaching people how to become debt collectors, and they don't even realize it. So I'm telling it to you straight out. Back to the hour-style money orders. Ladies and gentlemen, all we had to do was start doing what the banks do. Looking at the railroad case, the Ohio Railroad case, I believe it was Ohio Railroad, and I forgot who else was involved, but I did the video on that showing the Supreme Court supported HJR 192 in that decision. Let's see. Department of the Treasury, update, California. Well,
may not be able to. I talked about the October surprise. Here it is, Saturday, the 24th, and I said by the 30th, I believe that they were planning on doing something stupid. I still think that it can happen this weekend or next weekend. I'm not sure. I can't predict it because I don't predict futures. I just know that they've been planning something for a while.
Hey, you know what? I believe in miracles. Where did you come from, baby?
Hey, I like this song. Is this my boy Joe? Let me go up here. Let me make sure this is Joe. Uh-oh. This is I believe this is Joe Tex. But I may be wrong. But this is one of those, I grew up listening to this song. And
where'd you come from, baby?
you see?
Well, how did you know that I needed you?
See, I like these songs. Some people tell me, the music in the background, that's just real distracting. And that's your problem. You don't even realize why the music is in the background in the first place. Everybody, before I go on and talk about those hour-style money orders, let me explain. You should be able to tune out the music and everything else going on around you. Now, see, unlike you, my brain is processing so much information at one time that I have to be just like my computer. In the last video, I told you about me doing so many different things at one time that my computer was running sluggish because I do at least 10 to 15 different things at one time on the computer. I actually had to shut down so many things so I could upload the videos because it was really bogging the system down. So let me see if I can explain it to you this way. If you are not able to chew bubble gum and walk at the same time, then you will not get any of this. And you definitely won't understand any of the videos that I've ever done. You have to be able to listen to the information and let the music play in the background without paying attention to the music and focus only on my words. It is a teaching technique, and I apologize if some of you haven't gotten that yet. Okay? I really do apologize if you haven't gotten that. You have to retrain your brain to be able to ignore the distraction. When you're watching TV, and ladies and gentlemen, I gotta promise you, I can't even watch TV anymore. I watch television shows. I'm watching a movie right now called, what's his name? Alex Cross. And while watching that, my mind watches the movie and it thinks about every angle, every possibility. Could they have not written it this way? Could they have not wrote it this way? Was it necessary for this to happen? Was it necessary for that to happen? Now that was a unique idea. Oh, I like the way they did that. That's what my mind is doing while I'm watching the show. And it does it on every show, but I can't watch TV anymore. I can't even watch a commercial anymore. Because commercials are irritating, because they're so obvious what is being attempted. So there's nothing to catch my brain and say, hey, that was unique. I like that. I don't watch football, don't watch basketball, don't watch baseball because I can see the cheating in the game and I can't stand that type of dishonesty. But again, you have to train your mind to be able to ignore the distractions, to be able to ignore the ignorance, the stupidity, the morality. My word. Okay? All right, let's talk about the hour-style money orders. Mine, when I was doing them, was working because I understood, and I understand to this day, that there is no money. So if there is no money, it doesn't matter how many of these things I write. What about in a closed checking account? Well, if you have a closed checking account, hey guys, this is Heat Wave. And this is Love Songs with Delilah. Sorry, I used to listen to Delilah all the time. If you understand that there is no money, there is no spoon. If you understand that there is no money, if you understand that there is no money, then stop reaching out for it as if it were money. The more dollars you have, the more debt you're in. So that's why the video about discharging your debt through the Federal Reserve as opposed to the Treasury. Why? Because that's who you're incurring debt with. That's why they're called debt notes. Remember, they're only good for the payment of debt. They're not good for anything else. When you go to Walmart, everything is already paid for. So you're really acquiring a debt that's been incurred by Walmart, the corporation. When you're standing before the judge and before the court and they're demanding you pay something, you guys have seen the items I've sent to the court. And look, until you understand this, do not do what I do. Because if you try doing what I do, you'll have a charge against you. Now, there's a young lady in California who ended up running into a situation where they told her that she was passing fictitious money. Ladies and gentlemen, they can't, if it doesn't have the word check on it, if you're using one of your old checks from a closed checking account, put a line through that word check that's on there. You don't want to use the word check on any of these items because a check must be backed by funds. A money order doesn't have to be backed by funds. All right, thanks. That's why we call them money orders or bills of exchange, because we were exchanging one form of currency for another. Bills of exchange. You must understand that this is all about debt collection. Every single aspect of this system that we're involved in, no matter where you are in commerce, it's all debt collection, because they have allowed the system to run without brakes. They took the brakes off. In America, the Glass-Steagall Act was removed. In the world, World War I, World War II were the how would you say, the brake release. Those wars were implemented so as to put other countries in debt. You don't believe me? If you guys think that World War I was as a result of Ferdinand Marcos, or whatever his name was, Archduke Ferdinand, if you think it was because of him and his wife getting shot, then you've been smoking crack for way too long. Excuse me, hold on. Stop it. Go. Sorry. The cat again. I told you in the last video I did earlier that she likes to use the door as a scratch post, only when I'm talking on the phone. So she understands when I tell her stop, because you notice I didn't have to tell her stop again. And when I say go, she goes. She understands. Watch this. Come here, Jennifer. Come here. Jennifer. And here she comes. I'll take a picture of her and show her to you guys. She's a nice little orange tabby. I'd like to say red tabby, but she's not red. Jennifer. Come here, girl. And just like a little puppy, she comes when I call her. Ain't that right, Jennifer? Huh? Good girl. All right, that's Jennifer. All right, the dog his name is Tordo. Turdo. Tordo. Okay, just that simple. Just somebody made a comment and I thought they said Tordo, and I didn't know what Tordo meant. And I said, you know what? That's the name of the dog. That's the second time I did that with a dog, where somebody said something, I named the dog based on what the person said at that moment. So the dog is stuck with the name Tordo. All right, let's get back to this so that you guys can understand. And that's been the biggest problem, because your minds are so conditioned to believing that money is that green junk. People, that's been the conditioning of television and school. And when you grow up, your parents give you money, and they give you quarters and nickels and pennies, and you count your pennies, and you start to grow an attachment to it, thinking that it has value when it had no value to begin with. But when you start learning that you are the value, ladies and gentlemen, people are asking me, how do I do this? How do I do that? How can I get this? How can I get a mansion? How can I get 8 cars? People, I am not here to tell you how to be materially well off or materially rich. That's not my job. That's not what I got in this for, because if you haven't paid attention, I am not materialistic. I can't be materialistic. I have no hereditary possessions. Those who understand will understand. So if none of this is mine, then there's no reason for me trying to acquire something that doesn't belong to me. All I need is what I need. I have people offering to donate to me all the time, and I have to tell them. They told me, one person said, well, I'm going to send you this. I said, and I will just send it right back to you. Do you all get that? I say this often because people are always thinking that they can help me by offering me more legal tender. For those of you who have offered and you know what I'm talking about, please get this. I have everything I need. And I am very satisfied with what I have. To have! Alright, back to the Our Style money orders. So basically the first thing we did is we wrote our money orders like checks. Why? Well, because we told you. We used to dibble and dabble in checks. So we knew what a check needed to have because we did the trial and error stuff more than 20 years ago. Okay, more than 20 years ago, we did the trial and error, so we knew exactly what checks were required to have. So we added every last element a check was required to have. Okay, then the next thing you know, we gave them a routing number that they understood. The U.S. Treasury routing number. And the banks knew that they could monetize it. How did the banks know they could monetize it? Because it had our signature on it. Okay. All right, well then we announced it to everybody else what we were doing, and everybody else started using what we were using. That was okay because it still was going through for us. Maybe not for them because they decided to add their own language and to change things because they thought they were smarter. They thought they knew more about this. It's okay. That's what happens is people are trying to outthink a thinker. And ladies and gentlemen, if only you knew how much thought goes into all of this. This is not just me waking up one night and saying, no, it doesn't happen that way. Well, anyway, then we went to a dealership just to show people how well the system works and how well this could work. We did it in New Mexico and we did it here in Puerto Rico. The only thing is, ladies and gentlemen, I promise you my heart wasn't in it. I wasn't trying to get a car. If you don't believe me, you need to understand my tenacity. If I was really trying to get a car, I would go at them the same way I go at the courts or I go at the banks and the credit people. I would treat it as if they stole something out of my mother's hand while she was standing right there in front of me. Okay? So, it wasn't my interest. And here's the thing. Ladies and gentlemen, if everybody had a brand new car tomorrow, there would be still something else that they would want. And they would still break their necks to get it. So this is not about getting you a brand new car. And I'm not going to try to help you to get a brand new car. I will help you to understand how to get rid of your debt. I told you in the video, A for V through the Federal Reserve System. Send them one of the new money orders. It doesn't have a routing number on it, so nobody can get you for passing a fake check. Oh, and remember, those of you like the young lady in California, if anybody wants to say that you're passing fictitious money, then go back to Uniform Commercial Code, Article 3, Section 415, which says that when a person puts without recourse, they cannot be held accountable if the instrument is dishonored and not paid out. So what charge can they bring against you? Because if they charge you for that, they'd have to charge the banks for doing the same thing. Because they did that with every single promissory note, and it was exactly the same thing. So if they can do it, you can do it. But people, they're writing UCC 3-415 without recourse on all of these instruments, and they're not even knowing why they're writing it. Because they hadn't did the research as I told them to do the research. So if you got a charge where somebody's trying to charge you for passing fake checks and fake items, listen to these stupid videos and understand that I told you
And I'll say it again. Get rid of the word check on all of your items, and you shouldn't be naming them checks in the first place. And get rid of the understanding out of your own head that it's a check. It's not a check, and it's not required to be funded. But you don't know this. You have these people, and you're hiring attorneys and all this stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, make them prove their stupid case. I know you're worried because they're threatening you. They're saying they're going to put you here and put you there. Well, the court is a corporation. So, like we did in the video for handling the small claims court, and let's say you're in federal court. Just ask the judge, are these in any way debt collection proceedings? Remember, they tell you, well, you got to pay back your debt to society. When did I incur a debt to society? But that's what they say that you're doing. You're paying back that debt. Tevin Campbell this time, pleeple. 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 P-L-E-P-L-E. Pleeple. Okay. You are incurring a debt. That's what they're telling you. They're not telling you how you incurred the debt. They're not telling you how you can satisfy that debt. So, if you have a court case, do what we did in New Mexico. We're not telling you to do this. We're suggesting it. We can do suggestions all the time. It's my opinion that that man over there is a drug addict. Okay, we're just suggesting. So let me tell you what you do. Get the original indictment or charging instrument and take and get a certified copy. Don't just get one certified copy. Don't just get 3 certified copies. I say get 5 certified copies of the original charging instrument. You're going to discharge it through the U.S. Treasury. You're going to discharge it through the IRS, but you're going to discharge it through the IRS nonetheless. And the Federal Reserve and the judge of the case, or the actual presiding judge of the court, the Attorney General's office. Okay? And the promissory note it through certified mail. And keep a copy of the check after it's written out. I said check, didn't I? Anyway, keep a copy of the money order after it's written out, front and back. You don't need to endorse the back, and you don't need to write all that language. Do not do this, do not do that. This is not this, this is not that. You don't need to do all of those things. It ain't necessary. My cat has found a bug on my flow. And it's a bug I'm not familiar with, but not the kind of bad bug. The kind that will eat you up and spit you out. No, this ain't one of them bugs. This is one of those exotic type bugs. You know, the kind that will suck the blood out of you and have your eyes swell up so big that you know. Okay, let's continue. Those of you, after you discharge that item, then you ask the court for a complete accounting. Just that, a complete accounting. Because you believe that this is a debt collection going on. And then you show them proof that you have discharged this debt. And you just need them to state for the record that it's not a debt collection taking place. That's all. Remember, this is your life we're talking about. So if they are not actively practicing debt collections, then they have nothing to worry about. They can just say this is not a debt collection proceeding and it has nothing to do with debt collection at all. Okay. Don't go in there talking about where's the injured party. If it is the state versus you, say, well, by all means, the 6th Amendment of the United States Constitution is based on a maxim that I have the right to cross-examine any witness against me. And since the state of California is against me, then I'd like to call the state of California to the witness stand. State of California, you here? State of California. California once, California twice, California. Oh, well, since the state of California hasn't shown up, then
I don't see how anybody can proceed. And I pronounce these proceedings over, dismissed with prejudice, because the opposing party has not shown. Oh, I'm sorry. You say there's an attorney representing the state of California? Well, then the state of California needs to be sitting here with the attorney. State of California can't be off playing golf while the attorney's here. No. I have a right to face my accuser. So okay, we'll give the state of California, I'm generous, till 3 o'clock to be here. Because they should be outside in the hall. Because I do wish to cross-examine them. And I need to depose the state of California as to what it witnessed, since it's claiming that it witnessed this and witnessed that. Do you understand what I'm saying? No, I don't need you guys going into court being like me, spouting it out that way. But understand, when you have the state versus you, the state can't be versus you. The state is not a party. It can never be a party. The state is only a piece of paper. It does not exist. It does not exist. It does not exist. It's just a piece of paper. It's a figment of a piece of paper, a formation of somebody's imagination. So how do you get out of these cases? You have to understand the basics, your basic rights. You have the right to cross-examine whomever's bringing a charge against you, including a police officer. And if a police officer, like we're going to be doing with one on Monday, going to be putting them on the stand and going to be asking them a couple of questions. I'm going to start off with the easy questions. His name, how long he's been on the force, his badge number, if he lives within the community, basic stuff. And how many tickets does he write a year on average? And what's the race of the person on average? And the judge might get a little bit upset saying, what's that line of questioning for? We don't appreciate that line of... Oh, no. It goes to the actual gravity of this case. Whether you are white, black, green, orange, purple, it doesn't matter. You bring race into the issue. Even if the so-called officer was of the same race, you bring race into the issue. You do it based on demographics. You say that it was a quota issue and that it had nothing to do with you violating any so-called law. Then you ask the peace officer what police department he works for. Then you ask him at the time that he issued the ticket that you're holding up and ask him, was he the one who issued that ticket? He'll say, yeah, that was the one I issued. Okay. Were you acting as a officer of the such and such police department at that time? Were you acting as a peace officer being paid by taxpayer dollars? And he'll say yes. Your Honor, I wish to have this witness impeached for perjury. What are you talking about? Well, he just said he was being paid taxpayers' dollar or acting as a peace officer at the time that he issued this citation. Well, first, the organization he works for is a corporation. Here's the information from Manta.com and Dun & Bradstreet. Dun & Bradstreet actually does the official credit reporting and credit rating for corporations throughout the world. Well, Dun & Bradstreet lists the corporation here. And when I contacted the police department, they told me their CFO is, and you give them the name. So this officer just stated that he was acting as a peace officer while being employed as a security guard, an armed security guard. No, the judge is going to, oh, no, sorry, you don't have the option of saying this is nonsense because these are facts. These are unrebutted facts. Oh, by the way, you're going to have all of this written down. You're going to have all of this written down prior to going into court that day because you're going to hand a copy to everyone. You're going to give it to the bailiff to give to the idiot who's acting as a judge because you're going to accuse him of working for a corporation. You see, they can't get around the corporation argument because they're all working for corporations. You cannot be working for private interests because that's the next question you ask that officer. Because he was working for private interests at the time that he issued that ticket, and he cannot be. You cannot, that is against the law. That is actually a felony to be receiving taxpayers' dollars while working for a private corporation, for private interests. Now, we can't give you all of the arguments because that would take too long. We can just give you the basics so that you can understand what's going on. Remember, this is a scheme. If you don't believe me, go back and look at the 1930s, 1940s. You notice how they weren't arresting everybody for just walking down the street or riding their bicycle down the street? They didn't start that until the 60s when they were trying to corral certain individuals in certain neighborhoods, certain territories. If you pay attention to the United States and all these other countries, they put certain segments of the population in certain areas. The blacks, they put them in what's called the ghetto. But what the so-called blacks don't understand is that in, Italy and in Britain, the ghetto doesn't have any black people at all. But they call that the ghetto. The ghetto is usually the poorest, most underprivileged place in the community on purpose. They segregate people like that on purpose. The neighborhood I used to live in, and I'm only using colors now for the sake of conversation, but I don't care about color and don't focus on color. But the neighborhood I used to live in, called Nickerson Gardens, used to be for military white people. And that's where they lived. They were strong buildings. They were made out of cement and brick. Man, earthquakes, those buildings have lived through so many earthquakes and never had to be taken down. Never had to be taken down. I only remember them taking down maybe one or two buildings in order to build a park or something. But never had to be taken down. And these are only two-story buildings. In other words, every apartment is 2 stories with the exceptions of the ones on the end. Now, in the area where I was, the ones on the ends were 4 bedrooms. Well, let's continue so that you'll understand. Then when you had riots and all that, they were starting to move the black people into the community. White people were starting to complain because, black people, they were this and that, and they didn't do this, and they did that, and they this is going to come into the community, it's going to be bad for us. They did all of that. The same thing as blacks did when they started bringing Hispanics into the community. Because this is the government. This is what they've been doing to people for years. So you all must grab a grip of yourselves and get a hold of yourselves and realize that you have been bamboozled. You have been hoodwinked. You have been misled. You have been deceived. But I know you're saying to yourself, I ain't nobody deceived me. Then how come you still haven't come to realize that there is no money? How come you say to yourself, well, I woke up about 5 years ago. Oh, I just became awake last week.
I became awake in 1948. That's when I became awake. I was like 48 years old back then.
Do you see? If you became so-called awake, then that means that you were deceived. That means that you were hoodwinked. That means that you were bamboozled. That means that you were lied to. And you didn't catch the lie. But some of you did. Some of you were like me. When you were growing up, you asked questions as to why this and why that. You saw that it didn't make any sense, and so you didn't believe it because you knew that it couldn't be real. It couldn't be true. I am very grateful that my father gave me a lesson on money when I was a child, and I've held on to that lesson all throughout my life. So as I tell you, I'm the guy who used to tear up $100 bills in 4 pieces and throw it in the yard and watch the little rugrats run after it. And everybody else saying I'm crazy. I had money to throw away back then. I was making $7.52 an hour. working for the Army Corps of Engineers at the age of 15. Some say love is just a river. Sorry, my song. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, at the age of 15 and a half, I was bringing home monthly close to $2,000. But because I spent most of my time at work or at school, I didn't have anything to spend money on. So I had money. And I call it money now. I called it money then, but you know what I mean. I had that junk and I really didn't care. Because it wasn't satisfying, just having pieces of paper. There was nothing satisfying about it at all. Those of you who are going through your court battles, it's not one conversation that's going to help you understand the arena that you're in. But there are some things that you do need to understand. You do need to start asking questions. And when somebody tell you something like, I'm not going to have that in my courtroom, then you just simply say, excuse me, but I just have one question. You just mentioned that this is your courtroom. I don't understand that. Can you explain to me how this is your courtroom? Because that would make it a private venue. And if this is your courtroom, I thought it was being paid for by taxpayers' dollars. Which means that someone is guilty of misappropriation of funds. If this was your courtroom, that means that I don't have any rights here. Which means that this is a violation of my rights to have me in this arena. If this is your courtroom, that means that this is a private corporation. So my question is, are you, at this very moment, employed by a private corporation and acting at their behest? You just have to figure out how to articulate that in your own words. By just asking the judge, is he at that moment, at this very moment that this matter is being heard in this particular room, is he working for private interests, for a private corporation? It's just a simple question. He's going to get upset. He's going to make it look like you sat up there and shot the queen in the middle of her forehead. Ladies and gentlemen, let the idiot get upset. He's only acting. Let him yell and scream. I hold you in contempt. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize if my question has offended the court. Don't worry about the judge. Your concern is him holding you in contempt of court. So apologize to the court, but do not apologize to the judge. Again, if you don't know what you're doing, stay away from this. Let those of us who understand what's going on, let us deal with it. Let us handle it. Why? Because we can better handle it and get some doors open than you can and have some doors shut. To where you are sitting up there crying, talking about, I don't know how this happened. They didn't tell me that it was going to be 7 years. I thought that the charge was only 5. Okay, don't need nobody crying. You know, 1 month ago today, I was happy as a lark. We laughed, played a few games, went to the movies, maybe to the park. Yeah, I have a seat on the same old bench to watch the children play, because tomorrow's their future. But for me, it's just another day. This is also my song, by the way, guys.
But now, I go for walks.
To the movies, maybe to the park.
Maybe to the park.
All right. So, getting back to an understanding of all of this so that you all get it. We don't go after everybody at the same time because that's only going to cause you to have more problems than necessary. We need to be strategic in our attack on the system. Our attack can't seem like it's an attack. So, what are we doing? Well, what we did is we had to make the system look stupid and foolish. We had to get them to show their hand. So we put out a video And we had everybody using those hour-style money orders and doing the closed checking account because we had to prove that the closed checking account method was a viable method. And so what we did is we had people put all this language on it. And then they came out with internal memos telling the banks not to accept items that have this and this and this and this and this on it. Because none of that language was necessary. Okay? But then we also, because we figured that out and we were able to get them to show their hand, we did the same thing with the hour-style money orders. Okay, and I'll tell you guys, I was going to keep this to myself. Ladies and gentlemen, they still work. We pulled you guys away from it because too many of you were trying to get rich. Too many of you were using them for the wrong purpose. So that's why you haven't heard us talk about it in a while. But we also changed them up a little bit because we understand that vouchers, coupons, remittances are all proofs of payment. So we converted them to vouchers, coupons, remittances, proof of payments. We call them our certified bonded coupons. That's at least one of them we call it that. Hey, who certifies it? We do, with our signature. Now, we're getting ready to put together a group so that we can bring forth the lawsuit against the corporation because they claim that they've been borrowing from us. You do it again, I'm going to beat your behind. Sorry, I'm talking to the cat. Jennifer, go. See, that time I didn't get her attention. So this time, her attention has been got. I have a broom. Now I know why in the cartoons, whenever there's a cat, there's always a broom. Because cats are pretty quick. The moment you get over there, they're gone. But that broom, especially if it's got a long handle, that cat ain't gone nowhere. So she and the broom, they know each other. All right, let me finish this so that you all can get where we're coming from and leave me alone about the cat. The cat ain't being abused. The cat is a very happy-go-lucky cat. Follows me everywhere. Matter of fact, she gets her little friskies. Meow. That's what it says on the bag. 15-pound bag she gets. But no, she doesn't want to eat the cat food. She wants to eat the dog food because she's just finicky that way. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, the hour-style money orders work. They've been working. We've been utilizing the hour-style money orders, and we've been changing them up because they need to be changed up. What we're trying to tell you is you got to stop making it look like mine. It was never supposed to be you doing things the exact same way we do, just like the templates that we said, here are the templates you've been asking for the mortgages. Ladies and gentlemen, don't make it look like ours. Don't use the exact same language. Don't use the exact same wording. Yes, we want you to use the phrases, the catchphrases, but we don't want you to use the exact same word, the exact same format, the exact same letterhead, because that would be stupid. That's lazy, juvenile, and childish for you to copy someone else. It's called plagiarism. So stop copying and be creative. Make it your own. But first you have to understand what you're doing. So what I like to tell people is everything has a foundation. If you don't believe me, ladies and gentlemen, this is not No Doubt. This is a young lady named Leela James. See, Leela James, she does this, what is the name of this song? Oh, Don't Speak. I know the song because I sing this one all the time. Leela James does a very good rendition of certain other songs, including As Change Is Gonna Come and a couple other songs that are original songs by her. I like Leela. Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's see if we can put it in a nutshell for you. We know that some of you don't have enough faith and confidence in yourself, but I can't give you confidence. I used to tell this to my basketball teams all the time. I cannot give you confidence. Okay? So don't come to me looking for confidence. I'm not going to show you how to do anything. You have to do your own research. Now, what I have done is I've given you so much information well over 200 and some videos. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me see how many videos truly there is, because I don't remember. That's not it. Where is it? Let's go over here. We got uploads. But I do know, wait a minute, I could have gotten it. Wait a minute. Dang it, I could have gotten it from my video section because it tells me how many videos are on the video count. Dang it, dag nabbit. Nope, this doesn't tell me. Alright, let's go back. Somebody stop speaking. She doesn't want y'all talking right now. Alright. Well over 215 videos, so I'm believing it's 215 at least. And they're all over, well, the majority of them are definitely over 45 minutes long. And y'all can attest to that. 255, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I did not know that it was 255. And here it is, it was right in front of me the whole time. I did not know. Not trying to get to 400. Okay, this is not nobody trying to break Hank or what's his name, Babes or anybody else's record. But with that much information, I've given you everything you needed to know about anything dealing with this process. And with the website, when you take that information and combine it with what's on the website, now you know more than half of the people you come in contact with. Because unlike those people, I'm not leaving anything out. Well, you left stuff out with the All-Star money orders. No, I didn't. The stuff I left out was stuff you should have gotten on the research. About the reserving of your rights and the without recourse, that information is right there on the instrument. About the Our-Style Treasury money order, routing number, and all that stuff, that information you could have gotten from your research. I didn't leave anything out, and that's what some of you could not get. I kept telling people, if only you knew the information you were receiving at this time. I've stated that in so many videos. Some people got it. Some people applied the information, like we told you with the gentleman who got his foreclosure stopped because all he did was listened. And then he applied what he was hearing after he did a little bit of research. He created his own document in order to accomplish what he wanted to accomplish. And if you look at the document, he took his time doing it. He made sure it was worded just the way he needed it to be worded. And he got his mortgage stopped within 24 hours. Okay? 24 hours. Because he took the initiative to do the research and to fill out the documents and apply the documents himself. Some of you are going to have to do the same thing. I guess what I'm saying is you guys are going to have to work with me, because although you don't think it, I put all of you on my shoulders every day. Those of you who are really sincere, who are really struggling. But some of you want one-on-one help. You want those one-on-one conversations. That's not me. I cannot have one-on-one conversations with you. Okay, it's not going to happen. There's too many of you. Okay, and when the phone starts ringing off the hook, then we're going to start using the other phone with the other SIM card. And we're going to let this phone be the tethering phone. And that other number will be sparingly given out. And I won't do the phone number thing again. Okay, so let's try to keep this civil. Not civil, but civil. Okay? I wasn't a big Marvin Gaye fan, but this man made a lot of songs. Y'all, this man made a lot of albums. And if only you could understand, this man was a singer. He didn't just go out there on stage. I mean, the fact that he was living with his parents at the latter part of his life, that lets you know how the system did people back then. But this man, he was a singer. He sang for a living. And if the situation with his father and him had not taken place, and he was still around to this day, he would have been well off. He would have been doing concert after concert after concert, and he probably would have been bigger than life, because he has a pretty big following even to this day. All right. I know we got off subject about me explaining to you guys that we have given you everything you need to get what you need, to have what you need, to move forward. But they really are about to change the system. And so the last thing we're going to talk about is something we've been wanting to talk about, but we keep forgetting to talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, we told you that they've already changed the system. Well, the Amero, or whatever currency they're coming up with for the United States, is already in the banks. Now, I want you all to think, can they change the money system overnight? No, because the dollar is the world reserve currency. That doesn't mean that they keep it in reserve. That means that every country must accept the dollar along with their own currency and must exchange it at the current value, world market value. So every country utilizes the dollar. But if they change the dollar tomorrow, how will they compensate these other countries and the people in these other countries that have dollar bills and $20 bills and $100 bills and so on and so forth? How will they compensate them? They couldn't. So the only way to get all of the currencies that's out there in dollar bills is to devalue it. Do the same thing they did with gold. Told people to come in and change your money for gold. I mean, change your gold for this junk. And made it mandatory. And look at how quickly they took the gold out of everyone's hands. Well, the same thing they're going to do with the dollar. They're going to promise everybody some sort of a deal if they were to come and do it now. And if they waited past a certain date, then the value is going to be a lot less. But they have to devalue the dollar to make the other countries let go of what they've been holding on to for so long. It's the world reserve currency. So they have to create a crisis. But that's not going to be good enough because of all of the people who've been investing in gold. So the crisis is going to be a twofold crisis. One, that's detrimental to people dealing with terrorism, and the other one, devaluation of the dollar. And when they do this, when they do devalue the dollar, and you guys will say, well, he told us this. It's not me predicting anything. It's just knowing how they operate. When they do devalue the dollar, look, those of you who are holding on to anything, it's going to be devalued at such a point to where you're going to be almost 60% poorer than what you are now. And the monies you've been hoarding and holding on to will go pretty quickly. When they control the food, when they control the travel and movement, because they're going to have to create a national crisis so that they can restrict movement. And they're going to do the same thing they did with the Iran thing when the gas crisis during the 70s. They're going to have days for which you can go to the store, days for which you can go and get gas. Watch. Just don't take my word for it. Sit back and understand something my mother used to say. If you did it at home, you'll do it at school. That was what she said all the time. Basically, if you did it before, you'll do it again. Well, this is what they've done before. So all you have to do is just sit back and watch and see how they're just repeating something that's already been done before. There is nothing new under the sun. So what can you do? When the time comes, you play dumb. You fall in line like everybody else. You get away from these videos and you don't talk to anybody about this stuff. That's what you do. You keep your mouth shut, because if you open your mouth about this, somebody's going to tell on you. And then you're going to find yourself wishing that you had kept your mouth shut and that you had listened to me. When the time comes, play dumb. Sorry guys, I can't play dumb. I wish I could, but I've never been playing it. I've just been it, so I'm just dumb to begin with. So they won't let me play dumb. So I'm just up Bandini's creek. Oh, by the way, for you all who don't know what Bandini is the word for fertilizer. Those of you in California know what I mean, especially in the Los Angeles area. Bandini over there near Atlantic Avenue? Okay, anyway. So, there you go. They are going to create a crisis, but it's going to be a twofold crisis. That's what's going to make this so unique. They tried it in 2001, but it was too soon. You don't believe me? Notice what they did. The stock market had lost 1,500 points the week before. Notice what they did. They destroyed the World Trade Center, the foundation of the financial market in New York State. And then what else did they do? They launched a war on terror. 2 fronts. Watch and see what happens this time. This time they're not going to pull the plug on the financial part. Look, they shut down the stock market for a week. Understand, there was no reason for them to do that. But they knew the dollar was going to lose value that week. They did it on purpose, but it was too soon. Why? Because there were too many people awake back then. They had just balanced the budget and everything. They've been A for V and like crazy. Somebody just sent me some information on the proper way to A for V. And I got people going over the information to make sure of it. As soon as they make sure of it, I cannot promise that I will tell you because, again, some of you don't know how to handle the information. So I got to see how we're going to diffuse that information to others. Can't promise you. But what I can promise you all that this video is over. ReadersWrite.org, ReadersWrite.com, and YouTube.com/user/ReadersWrite. And Redress.Write on Skype. And redressucc@gmail.com. The only way to contact us. Have a very good evening. And thank you all for letting me into your home.
High prices, food shortages, gas, inflation, the cost of living, dying, stabbing, murders, earthquakes, food shortages happening all over the world, diseases. When is this gonna end? Money means nothing, but it means everything to some. What's going on? Is all of this gonna end someday? Why is life gotta be that way? I don't know. Do you know? Can somebody tell me?
Legal Redress Organization.
One world orders, new world orders. I just say they're all out of order. Can we be? Will we be? Can we ever hope to see an end of this? I don't know. Maybe I missed. Can you tell me why?